Hey guys, how are you doing? Good? Me too! What I want to talk about today was that wonderful thing that we call first impressions. First impressions will be the topic. Now, most of us find first impressions to be a very important part of what I call judging someone's character. You know, the first impression they give is something that's going to stick with you for the rest of the time that you know them. Whether they be your friend, your enemy, someone you don't even know or care about, that first impression is something that's always going to stick in your mind. Let me tell you guys a little story. My first impression of one of my friends in the cafeteria of our wonderful high school, my first impression of him was him talking about tentacle penetration. Now, when I say tentacle penetration, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is the penetration of tentacles. Now, my first response when I heard him talking about these things, believe it or not, went something like this. Or maybe it was something like this. You know, I think it was the second one. I think my jaw had actually dropped listening to the tales that he was weaving. But this is my point. This is my point. Even though that was my first impression of this gentleman, it's not the way that I saw him as I got to know him more. Believe it or not, he turned out to be a really cool guy. I can talk to him about pretty much anything. You know, he's always there for me, making me laugh. I make him laugh. It became a really good friend. But that first impression almost made me not want to, associate with him again. So in my opinion, first impressions are important. They're very important when you're trying to establish, friendships, trying to put yourself out there. You always want to make a good first impression. But that doesn't mean if you bomb that first impression that you are doomed forever to be lonely and sad. I don't like to judge someone based off of one experience with them, but for some reason it just bears a lot on my mind. It really does. So I guess some good advice for first impressions is just to kind of always be aware that anything you say is going to resonate with somebody in one way or another. No matter what you say, it's either going to have a good consequence, a bad consequence, or even a neutral consequence. Just remember that everything you say is going to make someone think something of you. Now, you don't have to care what people think of you. I mean, I don't, half the time I really don't care. But if a situation occurs where I'm trying to make myself not look, socially awkward, I am going to watch what I say. Like when I'm trying to audition for a show, my normal personality might not fit the characteristics of the role I'm trying to go for and the people I'm trying to impress. I walk in the audition room and I just start saying whatever I want. That might not be the best action to take. I also probably wouldn't wear, a shirt like this. Oh yes, ma'am, I'm here for the audition for the role of Papageno. Here's my files. Anything you need to see, ask me anything you want, really. Now, I'm not telling anyone to be something they're not. I'm not telling anyone to censor themselves and to inhibit who they're being. I'm just saying, remember that everything you do has a consequence in some way or another. So be yourself in the places that yourself needs to be. If that makes sense. Yeah, that probably didn't make sense, but just, you know what I'm trying to get across. You know what I'm trying to, portray here. Alright guys, well, I'm gonna go. I hope you had a good day, and I hope you will continue to have good days, and good days will just keep coming endlessly like a sea of days of good. A sea of days, day of seas, whichever sounds better, you decide. Goodbye!